Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Healing with Hila. This is your space for aligning, expanding, and reconnecting with who you truly are. I'm your host, Hila Ferguson. I'm a transpersonal hypnotherapist, life coach, and energy worker. Thank you so much for inviting me into your life. I am so excited to share today's episode with you guys. On so many levels, it's so incredible. It came together so intuitively, and I feel like it will have a lot to offer for so many of you guys. And so I wanted to backtrack a little bit. I'm going to give you some background at how this became to be, and then I'm going to tell you about all the incredible things that came from it. It all started when I was meditating to try to figure out what to do for meditation class. And I was actually feeling myself in a really high vibrational space. And I knew that I was going to be able to channel and offer something really, really unique and really magical. When I meditated and asked my guides of what to do, they showed me this incredible journey of transformation and release that they felt like the people that are going to be drawn to my work would really benefit from. And so they had me take everybody to a body of water, and they told me to just allow a lot of time for breath and allow a space of transformation where we take versions of ourselves that are no longer serving us and let them dissolve into the waters. And at the end, we just enter into the water and transform ourselves and take with us, all the lessons and everything we needed. And I had a feeling that it would hold, again, a powerful journey. And I didn't even realize how powerful. The things that I brought up to my students and my clients have just been incredible. And in fact, if you want to check out that journey, it is available in my shop. It's called Waters of Transformation, and it was recorded June 8th of 25 this year. And so at the end of meditation, we were chatting and some of my clients were sharing, and my friend started to share a little bit of her process. And at the end of our little chat, I remember hearing from my guides that they wanted me to call her and have her come in for a session, and in turn, let me post it on my podcast. And they told me, we're going to make it work. We're going to get you childcare. Things will get smoothed out. You're going to get to see her really easily. You don't need to worry about it because my schedule is so packed. I didn't know how I was going to make that happen. And so I trusted it's just going to happen and it's going to be fine. And sure enough, I was able to see her the next day. I had childcare. I was able to see her in my space, completely quiet. And so she comes in and she has this really incredible session, really about reconnecting into who she really is and treating and taking care of those parts of her that needed tending. And it was really beautiful because this theme of reconnecting to your authentic self has been coming up for my other clients as well. And so I am going to grow that a little bit more for us. But something pretty incredible happened during her session. I was called to record it on video and audio on my laptop, as well as use my regular lapel mic. I was struggling with getting my video to work, but I figured I'll use my laptop anyway. I had a feeling I needed it. And so I set up the laptop, I set up the recorder, we went ahead and did the session. And when I listened to it later, my mind was blown. So the computer audio picked up everything. Every single silent moment since we called her guides in was filled with a male voice conversation and a female voice that came in and out, and at times you could really understand what they were saying. The lapel mic only picked up the physical conversation that was happening between me and her, and just some background noise like whoosh that I wasn't able to fully scrub out. As I was listening, and truly, dude, that was crazy because intuitively I picked a spot and I hear a female voice that sounds like her that says, "You'll get there." But it's picked up on the computer audio. And when I took the lapel mic audio and compared it, you hear her breathe. You hear a. And so I'm going to include that for you guys. In fact, there's more of that on my Patreon where I showed the audio video overlap and just the crazy anomalies. I'm going to put some of it in this episode, but honestly, I really wanted to be centered around the message and the session that came out of it. And so, if you wanted to dive a little deeper into the paranormal part of all of this, I highly recommend that you join my Patreon because we're definitely going to dive more into that there. And guidance have been saying that this is proof for others, even those of us who have been trusting the space sometimes need that physical proof to know that it's real, that there is unseen guidance for us, that it is here when we meditate and talk to either loved ones or guides or our higher self and soul. It's real, it's happening. I feel like Brighton really needed that trust piece to really believe that she is a channel, that she is able to connect and this connection is real. And it even comes up in her session. And here we are sitting with this incredible physical proof in our hands. And I really, really hope that this inspires you to trust the unseen, trust that when you have these dialogues, they're real. They're true. Okay, we're going to start with the live recording of me and Brighton chatting at the end of class. And then we're going to move into the episode. I've actually included a lot more of my own dialogue to help. I have a lot of listeners that are in the profession, that are other hypnotherapists and life coaches. And so I was hoping some of my questions will inspire and support some of you guys in that as well. But I heavily edited the silent pieces and all the space that I gave Brighton to process and the space that she took to actually channel. And so at the end, you'll hear the space filler times with all the crazy sound anomalies. And so I hope you enjoy.
Wait, I want to hear, how long were you in Italy?
It was 2.5 weeks. The first week was for the workshop, and then the rest of the time was traveling with friends, Rome and Milan, Florence.
You're not seeing anybody? Are you seeing somebody?
No, I was seeing somebody, though at the time. We had been seeing each other for 3 months, and I really thought it was going fantastic, and then he cheated on me while I was in Italy.
Oh, that's a theme.
And so
that's a theme
I'm working through that stuff.
That's a version
it is.
Of the water.
Yeah, it is. That anxious version too. Yep. And she's coming right back with this new little booty call situation I have, and I'm like, oh, die, kill her. I don't want her. I don't need her. And I think I did it. We're gonna cry. Go ahead. I think I did a really pretty good job of trusting that situation, and it still fucked me.
It still fucked you. So you're angry at you.
I'm angry
for calling that in again.
I'm angry at me for letting that happen again, even though I didn't, and I didn't do anything wrong. And I think I did a really good job of shutting it. When I realized it happened, and I felt that pattern of Sam, of
yes,
I can do the work, I can make this better.
Yes. And she showed up again. She showed up again, right? She showed up again. But you don't discount your power. You don't discount your power. You need to understand that in a way, you did call this in. You did create it. It wasn't your fault. I'm going to tell you what I told Catherine, and she hated me for that. You are not a victim. You are a creator. You created this reality to show up again, to show you that there's pieces that still need solving and resolving and dissolving. And so she showed up again and said, Brighton, you did do amazing work. You cleaned up 80% of me. But there's 20 that is still here. There is 20 that you're still not radically loving and accepting self. So I can come and show you where we're lacking, what we don't want, you know, and it's time to figure this out. But don't beat yourself up for calling this in again. Allow yourself.
Because I needed it to learn and highlight the work. Yes.
Empower yourself from calling it in again. Because when you beat yourself up for calling it in again, you're telling yourself you're an asshole, you're an idiot. Why did you do this? Why did I do this? Bad.
Don't I know better?
Bad.
Blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. When you look at you and say, okay, bitch, I really wish you didn't bring this back again. But
you did, and here we are.
You did, and here we are, and I appreciated it. You brought it back again because my soulmate, my forever, the one, is not going to carry those patterns. So you brought that for me to show me this is not the one, and that I need to clean up some more. And you allow that to empower you, not tell you the story of how disempowered you are, of how not to trust again. Oh, here I am again. I really thought I could trust this, and I didn't. I fucked up. No, I cleaned up 80%. The 20% still showed up for me because there's more cleaning up to do. I appreciate that because my forever is not going to carry that. We are not a victim. We are a creator. Even when we create shit. And honestly, you know, and really honestly, radically, like the truth, and it's true that I really had to face, is you're mad at you, you're mad at your soul, you're mad at that higher self that said, hey, let's do it again, because she didn't clean it up. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up again. She did not clean it up, and we don't want the one to have it. She needs to get rattled. She needs to get stirred up. You know, she needs to go back right into this dialogue of radical self-love. She needs to go back into the radical of deserving, of truly deserving. I love myself so deeply and so radically that I really do deserve to be looked at as the one, the only one. You know, you gotta figure out the patterns that are calling in these pieces, right? What is the belief that I've been carrying around that physical reality has consistently proven to me again and again that is here to show up? You gotta figure it out. There's a belief that you're carrying around this, around specifically being cheated on, around specifically, you know, not being good enough to be the one. Figure it out. It sits there. So figure out that belief. Figure out where you're sitting. You needed this to happen. You still have a belief that's wrong with this. Sorry. See, we should have not avoided it.
Don't be sorry.
Damn it.
Those are all the same things I know for myself also, but you know, you get
You need to
sidetracked with
Okay.
that other voice that goes.
Correct.
Yes.
I did the same thing. I'm like, I tell Spirit, thank God for my recorders, because this is my coach, right? I record my shit, and then I'm like, okay, coach, I got it. Like, I can like see it from the outside and talk myself into the next step, or you know, out of the next step, or whatever.
And so, like I mentioned, Spirit just allowed us the space to work right away. And so a day later, she came over and we recorded this next session. You're just going to hear us starting our chat at my office, and it's going to move into the hypnotherapy part. I hope you enjoy it.
In Italy, my work very much centered around releasing the previous version of me, and I even ritualized it so far as like to create a grave for her.
Oh,
in Italy, and like it's
oh my
really beautiful rock spiral, which is why I've gotten this spiral tattoo to remind me of my death and rebirth. So just like how
Oh my
How
gosh,
succinct.
how synchronicity. Yes. Because
synchronicity.
like that was our meditation and
Yes.
that was like those pieces. And I don't even think you necessarily connected it when we were talking.
No,
Oh my God, I love it so
absolutely
much.
not until earlier today when I was like,
Oh, I did do that.
oh, I am still in this work and beautiful, thank God, because it's been like, I'm at the point where I'm like, how, right? How do I fix
Yeah,
this?
I'm ready.
So,
Because you're not the type of person that still is in the mud unaware. So once you have the awareness, you're like me, like okay, I want the tools now to move through this.
yes.
Okay, so tell me more about anything, like anything that comes to you, because it's all gonna like tie into our session.
Another thought that I was realizing is like lack, right? You were using that word a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
And today, well, it's just in general, like food is a hard relationship. And so kind of looking overall at like, where are the areas where I still feel like I'm really struggling to meet my needs is like love, and food is nourishing the self. So like what's the lack mentality is definitely a larger, it's not like just not enough love or just not enough food. It is just not enough or not able to meet all of the needs equally.
I think your guides and your soul are going to really help you understand this piece so you can work more on that. But if you had to kind of open up that space of not enough and internalize it between the relationship of you and you, right? Between the relationship of your brother soul self and your human self. What's the first thing that comes to you when you're kind of putting it in that kind of space?
Deserving.
Tell me more.
The self-judgment is so critical that I won't allow myself to have enough.
There you go.
Which sucks.
Well, that's great that it sucks, because it sucks means it doesn't feel good.
It's not in alignment.
Correct. And when something doesn't feel good, it's because it's not sitting right between you and you. It's not sitting right between your soul and who you are. That's a really big piece to recognize, right? That there's a conflict between those two pieces, that they're not at peace right now with one another, you know, that one is critical of the other, that one is not at peace with the other, that, you know what I mean? I really feel like today is going to be a lot about bringing peace between you and you and trying to understand, okay, what do I still need to do? What do I still need to learn? What do I still need to, you know, practice to bring that peace into space? You are able to drop very easily. And as we're talking, you're going to start tuning into truths, just like you did right now. So I want you to just move into that statement, allowing yourself to have enough. There's a part within you.
The violence against myself in the meditation was very powerful and shocking to me.
Tell me more about that piece.
Was sending versions of myself into the lake. And actually, my current version went in with a younger version of myself, a child version that was full of fear and anxiety, and she didn't want to go in. So I went in with her. And then no longer really saw myself, like as the me inside of my mind, and only saw the other versions of me. And I saw myself, the version of now, riddled with the lack and the anxiety, and saw myself like killing her and trying to murder her in the lake, choking her and pushing her under the water.
Was she resisting? And you can even move into that moment now. Time and space doesn't exist, and your soul will allow you to explore those pieces.
I don't think so. I noticed myself, the judgment of myself doing that, and it stopped it. Of I shouldn't treat myself this way.
Mm-hmm.
This is wrong. This isn't what Hila is telling us to do. And then I tried to move into your suggestion of showing the appreciation and the gratitude and letting it go.
And so I want to open it right now for you. I want you to allow a breath to take you back to the lake, to take you back to the shore. This time, I want you to really anchor divine guidance. And so inviting guides, ascended masters, loved ones
light beings, those that are here to really help you understand your intention today, to help you uncover who you really are and realign. And so just inviting them right now to step forward for you into the lake. And bring yourself into that moment. Bring yourself into that space of meditation, that space with your versions, and trust that from this time and space, from right now, we will be able to gather more for you. We'll be able to gather more of an understanding of your experience. And so just allowing the breath and allowing whatever is in your highest good to come to you. And just share with me when you're ready.
It's such heavy fear.
Tell me more.
Fear around even looking at it clearly.
Okay. And so I want you to just turn to your guides. You don't need to look at the lake, so turn around, put your back to the lake. And before you do anything else, I just want you to soften that heart space. And let your guidance, let that higher part of who you are, that soul part of you, and those loved ones that gathered, to just have some space to enter and connect with you through feeling, through words, through signs of symbols. Just let that open for a moment. It's the first thing that's coming from them.
They're holding me.
Good. And so take some time with that.
I've been working really hard by myself, not asking them for help.
So feel that. Feel how grateful they are that they get to be present for you right now. What else?
I'm looking at myself in the water, in the reflection.
What's coming to you?
The accepting of the truths that I didn't want to accept about self-love. I was afraid to look at things that I thought were ugly in me, but they're okay.
Tell me more. Invite that truth in and integrate that.
Taking from myself and keeping from myself things that I need, want. These things aren't ugly, they need to be loved.
Tell me more.
They are acts of self-hatred, not taking care of my body.
Allow the guidance to open that up more. Let them help you.
A part of me I see as lazy.
What about her?
I've just blamed her for these actions and then ignore them.
And what does guidance say?
She just needs help.
Are we willing to help her?
Yes.
In what way would be the best way to help her?
To ask her what she needs, not to blame her. I feel like we're embracing.
Beautiful. And so inviting that promise. Feels good to just check in with her instead of ignoring. Feels good to just give her some space when she needs it to let you know what it is that she needs.
We're renaming her effort.
Lovely. Is there another promise or anything else you feel like needs to happen between the two of you?
Not right now.
What else? What else is important for conscious Brighton to hear and understand so she can be more at peace with the body that she chose in this life? What else did they want to show you?
Truly resting.
Talk to me about that.
It's just very, very clear the ways and behaviors that I have disguised as rest that are not.
Does Brighton know how to rest?
Yes.
Beautiful. So anchor that, breathe that. And another little promise you can make between you and you. What else?
The belief that I'm not enough and don't deserve enough.
What are you experiencing?
The fighting the self.
Beautiful. So let's put those parts. I want you to put those parts, those two parts, the fight. Allow them to exist outside of you. And tell me a little bit more about that.
The one is very angry at the unfairness of life and loss. And she's just trying to protect by putting up walls. The less you put out, the less you can be hurt. But the other one knows that's not really true. And is trying to get her to see that and believe it. The other part so desperately wants to just be authentic. She's not afraid to be hurt. Feels like it's just so strongly me that she can't step out of the way and let something else be true.
And so again, let's try, instead of ignoring and blaming, to listen. And so inviting that beautiful breath, and allow guidance to come in right now and support you in this. Again, we are not doing this alone. They came to help you. They came to help you understand.
She doesn't want to die. Yeah, she feels useful, and I know she's useful. Talking to her that this is a death, but it's an integration, and not a finality, not an ending of her being.
A transformation. Show her she is not to disappear, but to become something more.
I don't want her to go away.
Pain around the unfairness of death usually lies with the belief that it's an ending. She needs to be reminded of the transformation that happens. What's happening?
We are floating in the lake, feeling the waves, taking a moment to remind ourselves that these are like the waves of life, and just scanning for anything else.
Beautiful. Let me help you. Invite your guides right now to open that up more for you. I want you to ask them if it's important, if there's still that anxiety piece, or if there's another piece that they feel like is important to bring forward right now. What are you experiencing?
The quiet voice of fear, the belief that something will always go wrong. Other people made me think this. It's not mine.
What other pieces are important around this?
It was easier to accept that as true, to fit in.
Now what do we want to do with it?
Recognize it. Honor it. This is a part of life we'll have to acknowledge in relationships and continue to work with, but not to accept.
Do they feel like it's important to invite a different belief that is more in line with the authentic piece of you instead of this?
Things always work out.
Things always work out.
It's the joy of, like the lyrics of that song, we're gonna make it after all.
What else?
Use the tools. And more strongly realizing how to hear the different voices, and then to ask them and be present.
Is there any other part that would like to come forward?
Love. She's showing me the dial that I turned down. The power of turning it back up and merging back with her. Noticing judgment. Bringing it in. And I'm seeing the rituals, like the bone garden and the grave. Integrating it all. All just pieces of the same story and work falling into place together. I can really appreciate and see the beauty that each step had.
Anything else judgment wanted to bring to the table?
She was just interrupting, and I worked with her through it.
What else is coming?
The happiness of meeting my need in this moment. Really meeting my need. Self-love and space. Of validation in my work.
Yeah.
And thanking effort and all these pieces. I can't do it without them.
That's right. When you feel that sense of completion around that piece, I do want to open another piece with your guides. And so you just let me know when you're ready. I want to open the piece of relationships. I know that it's tied to what we did right now, but I want Conscious Brighton to have a little bit more of an awareness and a guidance in moving forward and understanding.
I feel the shifts inside of me very powerful, that I'm deserving, that I know I am deserving, and I will not lower my standard anymore. Just building a new belief and putting the energy in it. And I feel the power of it. I am deserving of my soulmate. I am ready. I've been feeling it. It feels so good to create this truth. It is the example of what self-love looks like in conscious choices. It's just a really intense energy shift. I feel it zooming around in my body and it feels good.
So just opening up to anything else.
I'm asking for help keeping my vibration.
Cool. What are they saying?
To listen. Remember to listen. I'm asking the voices who would normally come as fear or anger to help me, just to come in as a reminder.
I want you to know that time and space is completely open up for you right now. And if there is anything else you would like to just spend those last few moments doing, if there's anyone you want to call forward, visit with, or just enjoy the peace and quiet in your lake, I want you to know that you have that opportunity.
I feel like a lightning bolt right now. I am a channel. Oh yeah, that truth is a very powerful feeling. Help me come back.
You ready? Okay. And so just take a breath and just allow that energy, the light that's running through you, to gently embed within the cells of your physical body. Know that you chose this body because you knew that it can be the most perfect space for the energy of your soul and the gifts that your soul is bringing forward in this life. And so there is a tremendous level of harmony that you have between the physical you and the non-physical you. And in this moment, allowing that beautiful breath to remind you of that relationship. And expanding with great appreciation for the guidance that came through and nudged you along, reminding you that they're right here. That help is right here for you when you're ready for it. And the pieces that gathered. And allowing that heart to expand with appreciation and love.
I feel like a very big part of me just kind of has lived very separately. I got my crazy hand, my numb hand going on. And Spirit answered. She said, yeah, this is what happens when your channel is crazy wide open, and it'll get better over time. Right? Yeah, being very aware of this, like what feels like an overreaction, right? Because I'm aware that I'm not able to use my hands very well right now. And yeah, just to be patient with that as well.
It will release from your body when you no longer will need it to teach you. So it's another practice with inviting that part to teach you, to support you, and know that she will release when she is done teaching.
And the part that wants quick answers, like, well, what's a trick to make it better right now?
And so even this moment is going to move into that teaching of bringing those pieces into the table and letting them have space to teach you and giving space for them.
Like we did with the selves.
Exactly.
Giving them the space. It's very funny to me that, like, I knew this tool. And you just have to, they integrate after time in all the right, perfect, beautiful ways and just the right amount of time. And
Exactly. And just because we're aware of tools, right? Just because we have the tools in the toolbox, sometimes also reaching for those tools on our own wasn't in our highest good. And so Spirit orchestrated it for you in a way that answered your prayer, that answered your want. And it's like, okay, great. And now you're aware of it again. And now it's going to be very easy to reach for it again by yourself. Right?
Yes.
It's like the same as, like asking for help. Like, that tool, right? Your guidance is here. To ask for help, for them to support you. But again, there's a reason why things are being kept away in order for us to wake up into our wants again. You have the tool of my meditation once a month. It's always here. But again, when divine timing comes, when soul says it's time, you're ready, there's more for you there, then it aligns and it happens and it's easy.
It was time.
Yeah, and it was easy. And they opened it up like, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Let's get you through because you are ready.
Because help us help you. Yes, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I thought the session was so phenomenal. I honestly loved pretty much everything that Brighton experienced in it. I cut some of my questions and I obviously cut all the silent moments that I allowed her to have. And I wanted to move on with our episode into the most incredible sound anomalies that came up. If you guys are my regular listeners, you might have come across that already at episode 6. This happened with Anna during our episode of releasing a spirit embracing support that we recorded together. And then they just showed up as incredible, loud static. And I feel like the signs are evolving and growing for us to truly grow this deep sense of trust in my clients and my listeners that this work is real. It's legit, and we just need to open up to that support because it's really here for us. I also think it's absolutely fascinating that this happened with Brighton. Brighton is who I recorded my episode Journey into the Souls with, that is featured on Gaia. And actually, the second season just came out if you want to check it out. And so there's something about us working together that has spirit really speaking through and really wanting to be known and seen and heard. And I'm very excited. We're going to definitely collaborate more and bring you guys hopefully more proof and more fun things. And so I'm going to move into letting you guys hear the pieces I pulled out. You will be able to reflect back to the episode and hear them. And like I said, I did cut the silent pieces. So that's what really was happening, getting picked from my computer. If you want to dive more and watch all the little videos of the audio comparisons and join our discussions, I highly recommend that you join me on Patreon. All right. So the first 2 segments you can find starting at minute 22. Like I said, these are silent moments that I cut. So obviously the original track of this episode is going to move much faster for you. And that's when you start to hear kind of like that male voice talking. I then share some pieces from the end of the session during some space that she took in the lake, integrating all the parts. There was a lot of guidance coming through at that moment. And then the following will be the piece that I mentioned where you'll hear a female voice, very similar to Brighton, saying, "You'll get there." But when I compare the audios, it was not on the lapel mic. And I have a video of that showing on Patreon. Here it is.
They are acts of self-hatred, not taking care of my body. To allow the guidance to open that up. Let them help you. I've just blamed her for these actions and then ignore them. And what does guidance say? She just needs help. Are we willing to help her? Yes. In what way would be the best way to help her? To ask her what she needs. What else is coming? Anchor that.
I really hope you enjoyed this episode and that you were able to get inspired from the messages that came through for her. If you feel guided to connect to the meditation that started it all, you can use the code podcast50 on my shop for Waters of Transformation meditation, and it will take half off for you guys. And I just think it's so magical that Brian's session ended with her just stepping fully into being able to channel and being a channel, and here guidance just filled her session with so much proof. I hope you join me on Patreon for more fun information and so much more soulful content. Thank you so much for inviting me into your life. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Healing with Hila. If you'd like to hear more like that, join me on my Patreon page for exclusive content and my mini podcast, Midnight Thoughts. I'd love to hear more from you. Leave in the comments anything you would like for me to discuss in future episodes. Thank you so much for inviting me into your life. So much love your way.